First encounter. In the bustling hub of Mars' central spaceport, a cacophony of alien dialects melded with the metallic clinks and whirs of spacecraft. Alex, a human medic in his late 20s, navigated through the crowds, his medical bag slung over his shoulder. His eyes, used to scanning for signs of distress, caught a peculiar sight in a dimly lit corner of the port, a figure shrouded in a dark cloak, her skin pallid against the shadow. Curious, Alex approached cautiously, his hand resting on the medical scanner in his pocket. "Hey, are you okay?" he called out softly. The figure flinched, her eyes, a vibrant violet, glancing up in alarm. "I require no assistance," she replied, her voice a whisper, yet carrying a distinct melodic quality. Alex stopped a few feet away, respecting her space. "I'm Alex, a medic here at the port. You look like you could use some help. It's not safe to be alone here with the energy levels dropping this time of day." The alien hesitated, then pulled her cloak tighter around her. "I am Zara," she said finally, her gaze wary. "I am not harmful. Just seeking a place to rest without causing trouble." Alex's interest piqued. Her mannerisms hinted at nobility, perhaps a fallen aristocrat from a distant star system. "Well, Zara, I have a place nearby where you can rest. No strings attached, I promise. It's part of my job to help out." Zara studied him for a long moment, her lips pursed in contemplation. Finally she nodded, and they walked together towards Alex's living quarters, a small but comfortable unit allocated to colony medics. As they walked, Alex tried to ease the tension. "So, Zara, where do you come from? I'm guessing it's not around here." Zara's eyes flickered with a hint of sorrow. "A place far from here, where the skies are crimson and the rivers run silver. I left because I could not be what they wanted me to be." Intrigued by her poetic description, Alex shared a smile. "Mars' skies can be pretty impressive too, especially during the dust storms. But I understand the feeling of not fitting in." They reached his apartment, and Alex keyed in the entry code. "Here we are. Home sweet home." Inside, Alex showed her to a small guest area with a daybed. "You can rest here. I'll be just in the kitchen if you need anything." Zara settled on the edge of the bed, still clutching her cloak. Alex noticed her caution and decided to make some tea to hopefully make her feel more at ease. "Do you drink tea? I have a selection from Earth, chamomile, green, and black. Or Martian dust tea if you're feeling adventurous." Zara managed a weak smile. Chamomile sounds calming. While the water boiled, Alex sat at the opposite chair, giving her space. "You don't have to tell me anything you're not comfortable with, Zara. But know that I'm here to help, not to pry." As Zara sipped the tea, her shoulders relaxed slightly. "Thank you, Alex. It's been a long time since I felt safe." "Well," Alex replied, "I'm glad you feel safe here. Let's keep it that way, yeah?" Zara nodded, her eyes meeting his with a flicker of gratitude. In that quiet kitchen, over cups of steaming chamomile tea, an unusual friendship began to brew, one that would soon challenge the boundaries of interstellar diplomacy and personal loyalty. Chapter 2. A gesture of trust. Alex's quarters, though modest, were equipped with comforts that many in the colony lacked. The morning after Zara's arrival, he prepared breakfast, hoping familiar Earth foods might make her feel more at home on Mars. "Do you eat pancakes?" Alex asked as he mixed the batter. "I can make them with blueberries or plain if you prefer." Zara, seated at the small dining table, watched him with an amused curiosity. "I have not had such food. My people consume different fare. But I am willing to try." As he poured the batter onto the hot skillet, Alex grinned. "Well, today's going to be interesting then." Blueberry pancakes are a hit back on Earth. The aroma of cooking pancakes filled the room, and Alex set a plate in front of Zara, who inspected the stack with intrigue. Taking a tentative bite, her face softened. "It's delightful," she admitted, a hint of surprise in her voice. "Glad you like them." Alex sat down across from her with his own plate. "So, Zara, you mentioned you couldn't be what they wanted you to be. If you're comfortable, I'd like to know more about where you come from." Zara chewed thoughtfully, considering his request. "My world, Vespertilia, is ruled by tradition and the need for survival. We are, as your stories would suggest, akin to vampires. But it's not by choice, it's necessity. I left because I do not wish to live by causing others harm." Alex listened intently, his eyes reflecting a deep empathy. "It sounds like a tough decision to leave everything behind." "It was necessary," Zara replied, pushing her plate aside. "Here, I hope to find a way to survive without the need for blood." Alex finished for her softly. "Yes," Zara whispered, her eyes downcast. Alex pondered for a moment, then spoke up decisively. "You know, there might be a way to help you with that. We've advanced quite a bit in medical sciences here. Maybe there's something we can do, synthetic options, or something else entirely." Zara looked up, hope flickering in her violet eyes. "Would you help me with this?" "Of course," Alex said as he stood to clear the plates. "Why don't we start by going to the medical lab I work at? We can run some tests and see what's possible." Zara nodded, her cloak draped loosely around her shoulders as she stood to join him. "Thank you, Alex, for not fearing me." As they left his quarters, the corridor outside buzzed with the daily routines of other colonists. Alex guided Zara through the throngs, introducing her to a few of his colleagues. Each introduction made Zara more real to them, not just a creature of myth, but a being with desires and fears. At the lab, Alex introduced Zara to Dr. Liu, an expert in xenobiology. "Dr. Liu, this is Zara. We're looking into alternative nutritional sources for her." Dr. Liu extended a hand, which Zara shook tentatively. "Pleased to meet you, Zara. Let's see what we can do. First, we'll need to run some diagnostics to understand your physiology better." As Zara sat down at the scanning station, Alex stayed by her side, offering a reassuring smile. Dr. Liu worked efficiently, explaining each step to Zara, ensuring she felt comfortable and informed. The scans and tests took the better part of the morning. Afterward, as they awaited the results, Alex and Zara visited the colony's botanical garden. The garden was a peaceful place, filled with plants from Earth and other planets. "You've shown me great kindness, Alex," Zara said as they walked among the vibrant foliage. "It's what anyone should do," Alex replied. "Besides, I believe everyone deserves a chance at a new start." Their walk through the gardens solidified a new bond, one not just of caretaker and dependent, but of two individuals from distant worlds, finding common ground far from home. As they returned to the lab for the results, there was a palpable sense of anticipation, not just for the medical outcomes, but for the future possibilities of their burgeoning friendship. Chapter 3. The Bond Forms. After a successful morning at the lab, Alex and Zara decided to explore more of the colony together. The streets were lined with shops and eateries representing a mélange of Earth and alien cultures. Alex, always keen to share his knowledge of Martian life, guided Zara through the lively market district. "Over here they sell the best Martian ice cream, or at least that's what my taste buds tell me," Alex joked, leading Zara to a small stall with a variety of colorful options displayed. Zara examined the offerings with an intrigued eye. "Ice cream is new to me. What flavor do you recommend?" "Let's go for a scoop of Red Dust Delight and Solar Swirl. They're a hit among the locals," Alex suggested, ordering 2 cones. As they continued their walk, ice cream cones in hand, Alex pointed out other landmarks and local favorites. Zara listened attentively, her earlier caution giving way to a genuine curiosity. "This place is so different from Vespertilia," Zara remarked. "Here, there's so much light and life openly displayed. Back home, everything is more reserved, hidden away." Alex nodded, understanding the contrast she felt. Mars is a melting pot, really. People from all over the galaxy come here, each adding a bit of their home to the mix. Their next stop was a public park, a green oasis amidst the red Martian architecture. They found a bench under the shade of a tall, leafy plant not unlike Earth's oak trees. Zara seemed more relaxed, the park reminding her of quieter spots on her own planet. Alex, back at the lab. "What if the results show there's no other way for me to sustain myself?" Alex turned to her, his tone reassuring. "We'll figure it out, Zara. Dr. Liu is the best in her field. If anyone can find an alternative for you, it's her." Just then, Alex's communicator beeped, a message from Dr. Liu with preliminary results. "Looks like we might be onto something," he said, scanning the message. "She's found some promising leads." Relief washed over Zara's features. "That's more hopeful news than I expected to hear so soon." Encouraged by the good news, they spent the afternoon in the park, discussing everything from Martian politics to Vespertilian culture. Alex was particularly interested in the latter, asking Zara about her planet's traditions and her personal experiences. "As a child, I loved the night festivals," Zara shared, a nostalgic gleam in her eyes. "The whole community would gather, sharing stories and songs under the stars." "That sounds beautiful," Alex replied. "Here, we have something similar during the equinox celebrations. Maybe this year, you could help me experience it the Vespertilian way." Zara smiled, touched by his interest. "I would like that very much." As the Martian sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the park, Alex and Zara made their way back to the residential area. Their conversation flowed easily now, the initial barriers of their meeting seemingly dissolved. Back at Alex's apartment, they shared a simple meal. Alex, ever the gracious host, had attempted to incorporate some Vespertilian flavors into the dinner, having researched some recipes online. "Hope this is somewhat close to what you're used to," Alex said as he served the meal. Zara tasted the dish, a surprised and pleased expression crossing her face. "It's very close." "Thank you, Alex. Today has been more than I could have hoped for." As they cleared the dishes, Alex was thoughtful. "Zara, if you're feeling up to it, I'd like to introduce you to some more people from the colony tomorrow. It might help further with making this place feel like home." Zara agreed, the prospect of new friendships no longer as daunting with Alex by her side. "Yes, let's do that. I'm ready to see more of this world and meet those who make it their home." That evening, as Zara retired to the guest room and Alex to his own, there was a sense of camaraderie and a budding friendship that promised new beginnings for them both. Chapter 4. Unearthly Revelations. The following day, as the Martian sun cast a warm, reddish glow over the colony, Alex and Zara set out to explore the historical archives located in the cultural district of the colony. The archives were a treasure trove of information about the history and interaction of various species within the galactic community, including some ancient texts that rarely saw the light of day. "Here we are," Alex said as they entered the grand building, its walls lined with holographic displays and ancient artifacts. "This place always feels like stepping back in time." Zara looked around in awe, her eyes absorbing every detail. "It's incredible. Do you think we might find information about my species here?" "It's possible," Alex replied. "The archives have documents and artifacts from thousands of civilizations. If there's anything to find, It'll be here. They approached the main desk where a tall, elderly man with a gentle smile greeted them. Welcome, I'm Marcus, the archivist. How can I assist you today? Alex introduced himself and Zara, then explained their quest. We're looking for any information on a species known as Vespertilians. Anything you have would be greatly appreciated. Marcus nodded, tapping on his data pad. Vespertilians, you say? Let me see what we can find. After a few moments of searching, he directed them to a secluded section of the archives. This way, please. The shelves were densely packed with data cubes and ancient books. Marcus handed them a few cubes. These contain mentions of Vespertilian culture and history. You might find them enlightening. Alex and Zara settled into a reading nook, inserting the first data cube into the holographic reader. Images and texts floated in the air, detailing trade agreements and cultural exchanges between Vespertilians and other species. This is fascinating, Zara murmured, reading about her ancestors' roles in galactic diplomacy. I had no idea our reach was so extensive. As they delved deeper, they stumbled upon a particularly old document describing a peace treaty between the Vespertilians and another species, which highlighted the Vespertilians' crucial role in ending a multi-species conflict. Look at this, Zara, Alex pointed out. Your people were peacemakers. Zara's pride in her heritage grew as she read. I always believed we were more than what our current society suggests. They spent several hours in the archives, each document revealing more about the rich history that Zara had never been taught. Alex watched her absorb the information, her expression a mix of wonder and sadness. Why do you think this was kept from you? Alex asked, his voice filled with concern. Zara sighed. Fear, perhaps. Fear of what knowing our true potential could lead to. Or maybe it's just easier to control a society that doesn't know its own strength. As the day turned to evening, Marcus returned. Did you find everything you needed? We found more than we hoped for, Alex answered, helping Zara to her feet. Thank you, Marcus. This has been incredibly helpful. Any time, Marcus replied with a knowing smile. Knowledge is meant to be shared. Come back if you wish to learn more. On their way out, Alex placed a hand on Zara's shoulder. How do you feel about all this? It's a lot to process, Zara admitted. But I'm glad I know now. And I'm glad I wasn't alone when I found out. Alex smiled warmly. I'm here, Zara. Whatever comes next, we'll face it together. Their walk back to Alex's quarters was quiet but comfortable. The revelations of the day had deepened their bond, forging a connection based not just on friendship but on a shared quest for truth. As Mars' 2 moons rose in the sky, their journey together was just beginning. Chapter 5. Cultural Exchange. The day of the Interstellar Unity Festival had arrived, a significant event on Mars where various cultures showcased their traditions and customs. Alex, eager to introduce Zara to the diversity of the colony, had planned to spend the entire day at the festival. Ready to dive into the melting pot of Mars? Alex asked with a grin as they approached the festival grounds, bustling with colors, music, and the enticing aromas of 100 different cuisines. Zara, wearing a simple but elegant garment that blended both her heritage and the Martian fashion, nodded enthusiastically. I am. It's exciting to see so many different beings celebrating together. Their first stop was a food stall where a jovial man was serving a dish that looked like a swirling galaxy on a plate. This is nebula noodles, the man explained, inspired by the cosmic clouds. Try some. Alex accepted the offered dish, and they both sampled the delicacy, which tasted as vibrant as it looked. Incredible, Zara commented, her taste buds delighted by the novel flavors. As they continued through the stalls, Alex shared snippets of information about each culture represented. They watched a traditional dance performance by a group from a water planet, their movements fluid and mesmerizing. "Would you like to try dancing?" Alex asked, pointing towards a dance area where festival-goers were being taught simple steps from various dances. Zara laughed softly. "I might step on your feet, but sure, let's try it." They joined the dance group, and soon Alex and Zara were laughing as they tried to keep up with the fast-paced steps of a dance from Alex's home region on Earth. Despite a few missteps, they enjoyed themselves thoroughly, their earlier awkwardness forgotten in the fun. Post-dance, breathless and exhilarated, they spotted a booth displaying traditional Martian art. The artist, a middle-aged man with a gentle demeanor, greeted them warmly. "Would you like to make your own art piece? It's a festival tradition." Both intrigued, Alex and Zara sat down at the workshop table. The artist showed them how to use local minerals and dyes to create vibrant paintings. Zara, with her fine attention to detail, mixed colors with an expert touch, her artwork reflecting the deep hues of her home planet's skies. "Yours is beautiful," Alex said, admiring her skill as they allowed their paintings to dry. "You've really captured something special there." Zara smiled, pleased. "Your piece has a lot of energy. It's very lively and cheerful, like you." They exchanged a look, a moment of understanding passing between them. The festival was not just a celebration of cultures, but also a deepening of their friendship. After the art session, they wandered to a quiet area of the festival, where a storyteller was recounting tales of ancient Martian heroes and intergalactic adventures. They listened, captivated by stories of bravery and exploration. As the storyteller concluded, Alex turned to Zara. "These stories make me think about our own story, what we're starting here." Zara nodded, her eyes reflective. "Yes, every day feels like a new chapter, and I'm grateful to be sharing it with someone who understands the value of peace and learning from others." The day faded into evening, and the festival lights twinkled on, bathing the grounds in a soft, magical glow. They ended their day at a quiet booth serving Martian hot chocolate, a perfect end to a day filled with new experiences. "Today was wonderful," Zara said as they sipped their drinks. "Thank you for showing me all this, for making me feel a part of your world." Alex reached across the table, his hand covering hers. "Zara, you are a part of this world, as much as anyone. I'm just glad I got to show it to you." Their hands remained linked, the warmth between them a gentle promise of the many days like this to come, days of shared discoveries and mutual respect. As they left the festival, the stars above Mars shone brighter than ever, reflecting the light of their burgeoning relationship. Chapter 6. Conflict Arises. The morning after the festival, Alex and Zara found themselves at the Colony Council building. Dr. Liu had arranged a meeting with key leaders to formally introduce Zara and discuss the findings from her tests. Though Alex was optimistic, Zara was visibly tense. "Relax," Alex said as they walked through the busy corridors. "You've got nothing to prove. Just be yourself." Zara glanced at him, her violet eyes clouded with worry. "It's not myself I fear, Alex. It's how they'll perceive me." Inside the council chamber, a semicircular table dominated the room. 5 members of the colony's leadership sat behind it, each with a mixture of curiosity and skepticism etched on their faces. Dr. Liu greeted them warmly, while Alex and Zara took their seats opposite the council. The head of the council, a stern man named Director Klein, opened the session. "Dr. Liu, you've requested this meeting to discuss a matter of importance regarding an alien visitor?" Dr. Liu nodded. "Yes, Director. This is Zara, a Vespertilian. Her species has often been misunderstood due to cultural differences, but Zara has demonstrated nothing but goodwill during her time here. Our initial medical research suggests there are sustainable alternatives to her nutritional needs that do not involve harming others. Director Klein's eyes narrowed. A Vespertilian? The same species known for preying on other beings? Forgive my bluntness, but why should we take this as anything more than a potential threat? Alex leaned forward, his voice calm but firm. With respect, Director, you're judging her based on fear, not facts. Zara left her home planet because she doesn't want to live that way. She's here seeking a better way. Another council member, a woman named Elena, interjected. You expect us to take the word of one individual when her entire species has a history of questionable practices? Zara's hands gripped the edge of the table, but her voice remained steady. I understand your concerns. I cannot change the actions of my people, but I can choose my own path. That's why I'm here. The room fell silent for a moment, tension thick in the air. Alex could see the doubt in the council member's eyes, and he knew words alone wouldn't be enough to sway them. Let's not base this decision on prejudice, Alex added. Give her the chance to prove herself through action. Director Klein sighed, exchanging a glance with the other council members. Very well. Zara will be allowed to stay, but under observation. Any sign of danger, and we will reassess. Zara inclined her head respectfully. Thank you for this chance. The meeting concluded, but as they exited the chamber, Alex could see the strain on Zara's face. You did great in there, he said, trying to reassure her. I feel like I'm walking on a knife's edge, Zara replied quietly. One misstep and everything could fall apart. They decided to take a detour through the colony's engineering sector to clear their minds. The area bustled with activity as technicians worked on maintaining and upgrading vital systems. This place reminds me of my time on Earth, Alex said, watching a group of engineers debate over a blueprint. I spent years working with teams like this. It's all about trust and collaboration. Zara looked thoughtful. On Vespertilia, collaboration was rare. Most decisions were made by a few, and dissent was not tolerated. Well, maybe that's something you can help change, Alex replied. You've already shown me how much your people have to offer. As they walked, an alarm suddenly blared through the sector. A piece of heavy machinery had malfunctioned, and a maintenance worker was trapped beneath a collapsed beam. Without hesitation, Alex and Zara ran toward the commotion. Help is on the way. Alex called to the injured worker, kneeling beside him to assess the situation. The man was pinned, his leg crushed under the beam. Zara moved swiftly, her strength surprising everyone as she lifted the beam enough for Alex to pull the man free. The crowd of onlookers murmured in shock and admiration. Zara, you saved him, Alex said, his voice filled with gratitude. I just did what needed to be done, she replied, brushing off the attention. Later that evening, as they sat together in Alex's apartment, the events of the day weighed heavily on them. That moment in the engineering sector, Alex said, breaking the silence. That's what people need to see. Not words, but actions. Zara nodded. Perhaps today was a step in the right direction. It was, Alex said with a small smile. And tomorrow we'll take another. They sat quietly for a while, the shared understanding between them deepening further. The challenges they faced weren't over, but together they felt a little more prepared for what lay ahead. Chapter 7. Acceptance and Understanding. The days following Zara's daring rescue in the engineering sector brought a wave of attention to her. News of her actions spread throughout the colony, leading to mixed reactions. Some viewed her as a hero, while others remained skeptical. Alex stood by her side through it all, determined to help her navigate this unfamiliar terrain. This is good, Alex said one morning as they sat in the colony's central square, watching the bustling activity around them. "People are talking about what you did. It's a start." Zara sipped her tea, her gaze thoughtful. "A start, yes, but it doesn't erase their fears. Trust is fragile, Alex. It takes more than one moment to build." "Then let's give them more moments," Alex suggested with a smile. "We'll show them who you really are." Later that day, they attended a community gathering in the colony's amphitheater. The event, organized by a cultural exchange committee, aimed to foster understanding between species. Zara had been invited to speak, a gesture that Alex knew was both an opportunity and a challenge. As they arrived, the crowd parted, curious eyes following Zara's every move. Alex felt the weight of their stares but kept his focus on her. "You ready for this?" he asked quietly. Zara nodded, though her hands betrayed a slight tremor. "I am. Thank you for being here." The event began with introductions and performances from various groups. When it was Zara's turn, she stepped onto the stage, her figure silhouetted against the soft glow of the amphitheater's lights. "Thank you for allowing me to speak," Zara began, her voice steady. "I know my presence here raises questions and concerns. My species, the Vespertilians, are known for their dependence on others for survival, a fact that has caused fear and misunderstanding. But I am here to show that we are capable of change." She paused, scanning the crowd. "I left my home to find a way to live without harm, to coexist. And here, on Mars, I have found kindness, support, and a chance to contribute." The audience murmured softly, some nodding, others still uncertain. Zara continued, sharing stories from her planet, tales of art, music, and the beauty of Vespertilian culture that many had never heard before. When she finished, there was a moment of silence before scattered applause began, slowly growing until it filled the amphitheater. Zara's eyes met Alex's in the crowd, and he gave her an encouraging smile. After the speech, a young Martian boy approached Zara, holding a small, glowing flower. "This is for you," he said shyly. "Thank you for helping the man in the engineering sector." Zara knelt, accepting the flower with a gentle smile. "Thank you. What is your name?" "Emil," the boy replied. "My dad says we should judge people by what they do, not what others say about them." "Your dad is very wise," Zara said, standing as Emil ran back to his family. As the evening went on, more colonists approached Zara, asking questions about her culture and thanking her for her contributions. It was a tentative step, but one that signaled a shift in the colony's perception of her. Walking back to Alex's apartment later that night, Zara was quiet, her expression reflective. "What's on your mind?" Alex asked. "Today felt different," Zara said slowly. "For the first time, I felt seen for who I am, not what I am." "That's progress," Alex said. "It might be slow, but it's happening." Zara stopped walking, turning to face him. "And it's because of you, Alex. You've been my anchor in this strange new world." Alex placed a hand on her shoulder. "You've done the hard work, Zara. I just helped you see it through." They stood under the Martian sky, the two moons casting a soft light over them. Zara's hand brushed Alex's, and for a moment everything else faded away. "I don't know what the future holds," Zara said softly, her voice barely above a whisper. "But I know I don't want to face it alone." "You won't have to," Alex replied, his tone steady and reassuring. "We'll face it together." Their bond, strengthened through challenges and shared experiences, was now unshakable. The colony's acceptance was growing, but the connection between Alex and Zara was what truly mattered to them. As they continued walking, the path ahead seemed a little brighter, filled with possibility and the promise of what was yet to come. Chapter 8. Together Against the Odds. A week after Zara's speech at the amphitheater, Alex and Zara found themselves at one of Mars' most breathtaking locations, a high cliff overlooking the endless red expanse of the planet. The colony had organized an informal gathering for those who wanted to unwind after the cultural exchange festival's success. Alex thought it would be a good way for Zara to connect with others in a more relaxed setting. As the two approached the gathering, Alex carried a small picnic basket. "I thought we could add a little Earth flavor to this Martian outing," he said, grinning. "Some sandwiches, snacks, and even Earth-grown apples." Zara raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "You think the others will be curious about your food as much as they are about me?" "Probably," Alex joked. "But let's focus on you enjoying yourself. You've done a lot these past weeks to bridge the gap." The gathering was small but lively, with groups of colonists and visitors scattered around the cliff's edge, chatting and laughing. A makeshift fire pit crackled in the center, adding warmth to the cool Martian evening. As Alex and Zara set up their spot near the edge, a few colonists waved them over. Zara, called Elena, one of the council members who had been skeptical of her at first. "Glad you could join us. Alex has been bragging about your artistic skills." Zara glanced at Alex, amused. "Has he now?" Alex shrugged with a sheepish grin. "What can I say? I'm proud." The group welcomed Zara warmly, asking her about her experiences at the festival and her newfound knowledge of Martian culture. While Zara answered with her usual grace, Alex could see how her confidence had grown. She spoke not as an outsider, but as someone becoming part of the colony. Later in the evening, as the group thinned and quieted, Alex and Zara moved to a quieter spot on the cliff. They sat on a blanket, sharing the food Alex had brought. "This view is remarkable," Zara said, gazing out at the Martian landscape bathed in the light of its two moons. "On Vespertilia, we have similar cliffs, but they overlook silver rivers instead of deserts." "I'd love to see that someday," Alex replied, his voice soft. "Maybe, when things settle here, we could visit your planet." Zara's expression grew somber. "I'd like that, but it's not a place I can return to easily. Not without facing the expectations I left behind." Alex nodded, understanding her hesitation. "Then we'll make this your home. Together, we'll keep building something here." Zara looked at him, her eyes shimmering in the moonlight. "You've done so much for me, Alex. You've stood by me, even when others doubted. I don't know if I can ever repay you." "You don't owe me anything," Alex said, his tone earnest. "This hasn't been about repayment. It's been about us, what we've built together." Zara hesitated, then reached out, her fingers lightly brushing his hand. "Us. That's something I never thought I'd find here, in this strange, distant place." Their eyes met, and the space between them seemed to disappear. Alex leaned closer, his hand gently cupping her cheek. Zara's breath hitched as his thumb brushed her skin, a gesture so human yet so deeply universal. "I don't know where this road leads," Alex murmured, his voice barely audible over the soft Martian breeze. "But I want to walk it with you." Zara closed the remaining distance, their lips meeting in a kiss that was tender yet filled with the weight of everything they had shared. It was a connection not just of worlds, but of two souls who had found each other against the odds. When they finally pulled apart, Zara rested her forehead against his, a rare smile gracing her lips. "Thank you, Alex, for showing me that I don't have to face anything alone." "Always," Alex said, his voice steady. "We're in this together." As the night deepened, they sat in comfortable silence, watching the stars shimmer above. The colony had come to accept Zara, and she had found a place where she could belong. But more importantly, she had found Alex, a partner, a friend, and someone who believed in her when she needed it most. The challenges ahead would be many, but together they felt ready to face them. Under the vast Martian sky, They began to dream of a future that was no longer bound by fear or doubt, but filled with the promise of what they could achieve together.